offensive to recapture Mosul, ISIL's last stronghold in Iraq. It began last October, but it took weeks to drive the extremist group from dozens of towns surrounding the country's second largest city. Even then, it was only the Special Forces who managed to enter from the east. After a few days of fierce fighting, the soldiers thought they had secured at least one district. That judgment was premature.
Now we're returning fire on what is clearly still ISIL remnants hiding amongst these buildings.
We saw tunnels almost everywhere we looked, both inside and outside the city. Locals say ISIL had been digging them for more than 2 years.
All right, so the tunnel has been filled in now. This is the exit. The entrance is about 1 kilometre away, and these sorts of tunnels allowed ISIL, well, they're still allowing ISIL in Mosul, to engage the army in one area and then disappear and come up in another area.
ISIL's ability to make its own bombs also meant the group needed only limited supplies from outside, making it easier to withstand a prolonged fight within the city.
هذا شلون مثل ما تقول نموذج بعد ما كملوها من المصنع خلوها هنا جابوها خلوها هنا عندك داخل جمالونات باقية مجموعة من أفران وصهر الحديد صهر البرادة وقوالب وتورنات يسوون بيهن القنابل.
Artillery specialist Musan Ukla and his team have been fighting ISIL all the way from just beyond Baghdad's city limits.
And this is where the detonator is then.
He says he has never seen such a large homemade weapons factory.
طبعا هذا الكم الهائل من الأسلحة زين شوفون قنابل هاود كله كان المفروض يستخدم ضدنا زين بس بفضل الله الحمد لله هزموا من هذا المكان.
Not everyone in Mosul opposes ISIL. Many analysts say the group managed to gain a foothold in Iraq partly because of alleged persecution of Sunni Muslims by the largely Shiite security forces. Some locals say life was bearable if you were a Sunni and followed every rule. But offences like smoking, owning a phone, or not attending prayers could lead to jail, flogging, or worse. Just down the road beyond Mosul city limits stands a church. ISIL persecuted minorities like Christians and Yazidis, as well as Shiite Muslims. They were often executed, but even many Sunni Muslims suffered.
إجا بين قتل كافة الطوائف ما إجا من طائفة معينة يعني خلينا نقول مثل داعش خلينا نقول سني ما قتل بس الشيعة والشبك والمسيح قتل حتى السنة وهجرهم هذا الإرهاب يبقى الإرهاب موجود.
Inside this church, there is a makeshift school testifying to ISIL's attempts to indoctrinate children.
What about this writing on the whiteboard? What does this say?
On this whiteboard, a timetable for lessons ranging from gun maintenance, kung fu, learning how to cope without food and water, and information about different countries to know more about killing their people. This small board is perhaps the most chilling. Instructions on how to target the most lethal areas of the body.
So this is teaching the children how to be snipers, how to be killers.
Inside Mosul, schools like this are probably still running. Many people remain trapped inside the city. For those caught attempting to escape, the penalty is execution. Some people have managed to flee to collection points set up by the Special Forces. It's a terrifying journey, and many people refuse to show their face on camera, for fear that ISIL would punish family members who are still trapped.
بدأت يمنا احنا منطقة حي الخضراء، بدأت يمنا قامت تقع هاونات والطرفين غادي يعني بدأت معركة غادي. قمنا نزحنا على الحي القريب يمنا اللي هو السماح هسه اللي طهروا. بعدها ماكو نزوح، هو مجازف انه تطلع 50% انه تمسك تنقتل و 50% انه تخلص. بس هو وضعك يستحق انه تجازف.
From these collection points, people are taken to nearby camps.
As tough as the conditions are in this camp, and they are indeed tough, they are much better than the conditions we saw down in Fallujah, the last city that the army recaptured from ISIL, and it's clear that lessons have been learned, more preparation put in place.
قاعد نستلم أرزاق، انطونا مواد غذائية، انطونا مواد دواشق وبطانيات والقضايا انطونا، والخيمة كل واحد خيمة، كل عائلة خيمة.
But it's no substitute for home.
اي والله على ارجع على القرية مالتنا، بيتنا، حلالنا، نربي حلال.
It's the sentiment shared by everyone we spoke to here. But the battle for Mosul is not over yet. And even when it is, it will likely take months of clearing rigged explosives before people can start moving back into the city that had been the biggest prize in ISIL's so-called caliphate.